Governor Andy Beshear, Representative Hal Rogers, and Senator Mitch McConnell recently announced more than $21 million in federal funding for the Panbowl Lake Corridor project in Breathitt County. And earlier today, U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg made a stop in the area to see the site for himself and to hear from folks in the community. WYMT's Olivia Calfee has more.
Following back-to-back floods in Breathitt County, Panbowl Lake raised concerns about more flooding in the future. And on Thursday, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg saw the site for himself.
Look, the whole country took note when there were those floods, and we know that this is a vulnerable area to those extreme weather events. That's one of the reasons why, in a very competitive process, we decided to award this grant to this project for Panbowl Lake.
The grant funding is part of the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity grant program. Secretary Buttigieg says he knows the importance of the project.
The widening of Kentucky 15, that's important not just for transportation purposes, but for safety and resilience. The governor raised it multiple times with me, got a lot of letters about it, and having heard so much about this small community here in eastern Kentucky, I want to get out here and see it for myself.
The project is one of 162 projects across the country, and Kentucky Transportation Secretary Jim Gray says it shows eastern Kentucky is not being forgotten.
I was here the day after the flood, and I saw the conditions here, and I saw what needed to be done, and so it was inspiring to see that people were listening to us, and it was rewarding to see then that this grant, which was so needed for this project, was done.
And Buttigieg says his goal was to hear personal stories about what the community has overcome. And Jackson Fire Chief Chase Deaton says it was an honor that he stopped by.
I know a lot of times in emergency services, we're dealing with everybody else's problems, not really dealing with their own. But I know in this flood, in this department especially, I'd say over half of our members were in some way, some form or fashion affected by this flood. Some of our members had to be rescued. I just think it's just an honor that someone cares enough to come to Jackson.
Secretary Buttigieg went on to Lexington Thursday afternoon to highlight other Kentucky projects. In Breathitt County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
The Panbowl Lake Corridor project includes widening Kentucky 15 to 5 lanes from Kentucky 30 up to Kentucky 1812, adding a sidewalk and shared use path along Kentucky 15 and improving gate structures in that area.